The Australian Museum in Sydney has worked closely alongside Indigenous people since the 1880s. This is a photo of an expedition to Arnhem Land in the 1940s. In those times, the museum undertook expeditions collecting objects to take back to the museum for research and display. In some cases, inappropriate material such as sacred objects and human remains were collected. In the 1970s and 80s, there was a fundamental shift in how Aboriginal culture was viewed by the broader Australian community. This had an effect on the museum's relationship with Aboriginal people. But also this change had an effect on how Aboriginal people viewed museums and what they had to offer. One of the outcomes of this change was that the museum adopted a policy of returning objects and remains back to their communities. This first occurred in 1974, and since then, over 200 objects and skeletal remains have been repatriated, sent back to the communities that they were originally acquired from. We have found that the act of repatriation is not the end. In many cases, it is just the beginning of the development of relationships that can take many forms, such as the provision of advice by the museum to Aboriginal communities in the development of keeping places and museums. One other example is that museums have been asked to assist in the return of material from private collectors or other institutions to the appropriate Aboriginal custodians or communities. Or the museums have been asked to be custodians of the material for the community as a safe keeping place that they can trust. Thus, as a way of further developing this growing relationship, the museum is investigating the use of new technologies to document the community's own stories and recollections about an object, such as where it came from, how it was used, and what it was used for, as can be seen in this photo. So, how do you get involved? Visit the website, download the policy, and if you want to talk, contact me the old-fashioned way and ring, and we can discuss the issues.